The son of the former president of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi, known as SAIF Al Islam, has been announced dead. The death of SAIF Al Islam has very many education purposes and the reason for me to speak about, because Muammar Gaddafi is one of the longest serving president on earth. He led Libya for more than 43 years as an authoritarian, and he was killed by the NATO forces being helped by the Libyans in 2011. I remember vividly that I was in school and I had gotten some sick leave. So I was at my mom's workplace. They announced him dead. My tears rolled down my cheek, because by then I was so emotional. He's one of the Pan-Africanists who failed his country vehemently, and I'm going to explain this video. And the purpose of this video is for us to learn as Ugandans what we can learn from Libya's politics and the transitional matters, because it even scares me to say this, that Uganda is getting on the road Libya took almost 15 years ago. So the purpose of this video, I've come to talk about the death of SAIF Al Islam, what it means for our politics, and most importantly, the study materials we can learn from the politics of our nation. But before I do this, I want to let you know that if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. And if you're watching this video from a different platform, please head on to YouTube, type in Sula Mawagari. There's a lot of content of this nature. If geopolitics and economics is what you want, this will be definitely the right channel for you to subscribe to. Muammar Gaddafi was the president of Libya. Okay, he came through a coup to overthrow a king by that time, and he looked to be a revolutionary leader in Libya, and indeed he did very many things when it comes to development. But I keep on telling people that development and infrastructure built on unconstitutionalism and totalitarianism and authoritarianism cannot be sustained for a long period of time. Libya had good infrastructure, it had a good economy, a good GDP, but it was ruled by iron fist, to an extent that there were no elections in Libya. In fact, Uganda felt bad when Muammar Gaddafi died, because even in Uganda, I'm a Muslim, he built a mosque at Old Kampala, he built a palace in Toro. We had every reason to support him, but when it comes to democratic morals, he failed. By the time of his death, he had his son, SAIF Islam. He had, I think, 7 children. SAIF Islam was an apparent heir, like it is now in Uganda, where MUSEVENI has ruled over us for 40 years, and is now forcing MUHOOZI through our throats as the next heir. It was the same thing that was done by Gaddafi. In fact, SAIF Islam, who has just died, looked to be a revolutionary. He looked to be a reformist from what his father was doing. In fact, for me, I keep on telling people that I prefer, there are 2 types of dictators. There are benevolent dictators and petty dictators. I may prefer a benevolent dictator who may curtail my freedom of speech somewhere, but will spur the country to its maximum growth, like Lee Kuan Yew. Okay? He curtailed some of the freedom of speech of very many people, but he brought Singapore from the poorest country to the first world country. By the time of his death, Singapore was already the first world country. Here in Uganda, we have a petty dictator who will tell you that we are going to go in an election. and will beat each and every opposition candidate, that even after election, an opposition leader is on the run. We have a petty dictator who will tell you that there is constitutionalism, but there are those who the constitution will not work on. If you compare the two, one is benevolent, one is not. But all dictators, even if they build infrastructures and development, if they don't work on constitutionalism, that constitutionalism is built on quicksand. In fact, the SAIF Al Islam, the one who has been killed now, was a son who was looked at as the heir. I don't know why dictators across the country, when they lead the country for very many years, they think that even their sons can come and be installed like their kings. There is no harm if their sons come in a duly elected process like the way it is in Kenya. Very many people speak about Kenya. But when Jomo Kenyatta died, it took almost 40 years, 30 years for Uhuru Kenyatta to be president. Even when he was supported by Moi, he failed to get to be the president. In fact, Moi ruled for 21 years, Kibaki ruled for 10. Those are 30-something years before Uhuru Kenyatta became president. He was never installed like it is the plan in Uganda. In fact, when Muammar Gaddafi was captured, he made an emotional speech cursing the friends to his father or the friends to the president. Okay? In fact, in a video I'm going to play you, it was translated in words when SAIF Al Islam was cursing the people he was with in the government. He said these statements.
نبي معلومه بس حبيبي خوتي تفضل الواد اللي منزلني هذا برقيكم انتم هذا ولا كيف غادي يعملوا احنا نازل انا جاي نقول لكم راهو قدام تلقوا زي ما انتم تلقوا المصاري قدامك ما نسمعوك شو فيه قدامك تجربوا ويشوفوهم وتشبعوهم يعني هذا الصلابي وعبد الحكيم بالحاج والشله هذه كلها ناس كويسين عسل الملائكه والله اللي لقيت فيهم انا الخير لقيت فيهم انا ما لقيت فيهم الخير والله ما هم لاقي فيهم اللي يقولوا بالخير. هذا رقم واحد. رقم اثنين اللي تشبعها. شوف العرب مصرات ولا عرب الشارع ما حتى عرب التاني صارت المغازل حتى مصاريطها كيف بعضها. مصاريطها بالغزل. والجبليه هذول كويسين وعندهم مش كذا وخوتكم وقالوا لكم ان احنا وحسين وزيد وماشيين معاكم وبيمشي تمام. خلاص. وفيكم الغزل. والدنيا طويله بالك اصبروا السنه سنتين والشهر والشهرين انتم تشوفوا قدامكم لكن في يوم من الايام ارجوك ما تنكرش اني ليس الاسلام وانا اسير وتدخل مكان
انا نسال فيك نورني بس انا تفاجات
اطلع فيه من اول ما تمشي داخل السلاح
عبد الحكيم
والله يا خير والله يا زتان والله العظيم كانت مطيحه والله كانت مطيحه وطار
لا اله الا الله
انا والله ماني عارف ماشي تو الحبس فبرا داخل قسم بالله كان انتم كانكم ماشيين بهالفكره هذه راكم رايحين والله لا رايحين واحنا ليبيا 42 حكمنا نعرفها والله لا رايحين وكان تحسابوا الامور بالسهوله هذه والطيبه هذه او حبني الطيبه بتاعي خلى واحد يجي ويحكي قالوا لي ما سمعتني قالوا لي ان عذبناه قسموا بالله العظيم من يوم لما سلموه الامريكان حكى لنا الامريكان كيف علقوه في الطياره وحطوه في البن تاع الثلج والتعذيب واحد حطيناه في فيلا جبنا مرته صغيره ولا واحد حط يصبعه هيك لعن ما طلع ويعتبر اقامه جبريه.
That is SAIF Al Islam. So the death of SAIF Al Islam and the death of his father Muammar Gaddafi 15 years ago teaches us that power is not absolute. Every power can come to an end. History is replete with strong generals, emperors that have failed, that even their grandchildren cannot be traced. So what do we learn in this one? And I want this video to be watched by General MUHOOZI. First of all, humanity exceeds everything. Being in power does not guarantee you to call people traitors, to call them rebels, because they have a contrary view on what you have. Secondly, if things go south, because all signs show that anytime we are getting the road of Libya, I may not want it to happen, but that's what is destined to be. A country where there is no constitutionalism, a country where you don't feel safe when in your position, it calls for anarchy. And if you continue like this, anarchy is going to be inevitable. But if things go south, the first people who will call you out, who will run out of the government, who will call you bad, are the same people you eat with. If things go south, don't be surprised Balaam to come out and tell you that I saw General MUHOOZI or General MUSEVENI as a bad person. In fact, me, the period I worked there, I was under capture. Don't be surprised that the ministers in your government will be the first person to talk ill about your government if they threaten your power. The first people that spoke ill against Gaddafi's government were his vice president, the commanders, etc. Don't be surprised that those you will remain with your nucleus family, even your relatives, you may not want, they may deassociate from you if power is threatened. That's what we learn, and it is the truth. There is no best thing as following the constitution. There is no best thing as following being in harmony. There is no best thing like being with those who have contrary views without calling them names like labels, like wanting their balls. Trust me, there are very many lessons that can be learned. In fact, anything that happens across the globe in leadership is a lesson to be learned, even away from global politics. People who are with power should go and sit with Akena to narrate. Akena once even said that after his father was overthrown, the video that was seen with his mother, that soldiers used to torture them. There are other former sons. Go speak to Mwenda Mutebi, the king of Uganda. At least you are privileged, you can access him to tell you that when his father went into exile to death, to tell you the life they lived in. There is nothing like following the constitution, because if you all decide to follow the law, even when government changes, everyone is safe and we can move as a country. Of course, as my opinion remains truly Mr. Makindi, Sulaiman Mawagali. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe, like, and comment so that I can be motivated to do more of such videos. I'll see you on another one. Peace.